bad guys, cowboys and Indians, sinners and saints, masters and minions. They're all the same to me. They're all the same to me.
Howdy there. I'm Matt McKinley, and we're burning daylight.
Winners and losers, the weak and the strong ones.
Welcome to Fence Post Politics, the only source for unfiltered, nonsensical, fake-ish news that you never asked for. With your hosts, Matt McKinley and Aaron Ellis. Brought to you by Stetson Ranches out of Fromberg, Montana. Well, howdy there, daylight burners. Happy Saturday. Last day of the month, July 31st. Holy shit, July is done. This has been a good month for me. Well, for the podcast anyways. It's been a good month. We, as of right now, we're just shy about 300, well, not quite 300, about 250 downloads shy of 13,000, which is, for this deal, holy cow. I think my very first July, I might have broke 1,000. I'm not sure I did. So yeah, in 2 years, you guys have, there's been a whole bunch of you hop on board. So, I appreciate it. I know I got some new listeners, over the past, couple weeks and months. And I appreciate you all. Thanks for coming aboard. And, Patreon folks, you guys are used to this by now. We're going to do an ad-free episode just for everybody, just my way of saying thanks. And I'm just kind of lazy. I don't feel like putting the rest of it together. But final episode of the month, finally got Aaron over the super AIDS. His asshole has stopped exploding for the moment. And we talked a whole bunch of politics. Talked a little bit of culture, and as per usual, we told a lot of dick jokes. So, this is a good episode. It was fun, and I think you're gonna like it. So, thanks again for tuning in. Thank you to all the new Patreon subscribers, up over 50 of you now. We're gonna do a fight watch along, the ESPN. It'll be on ESPN and ESPN Plus, I think. So if you'd like to watch along, I would love to be able to screen share with you, but that'll get me nuked and probably sued. So, but I'm gonna watch along, and so tune in if you'd like, and we'll set up a Patreon Q&A here sometime within the next week. But if you'd like to be a part of that, patreon.com/burning-daylight. That's my only ad for today. Patreon.com/burning-daylight. Sign up to help support the show and get entered to win some cool stuff this week or this month. We are giving away a money clip and a horn cap, both of them made by Tracie Morrison out of Chelsea, Oklahoma. So sign up for that if you would like. If not, no harm, no foul. But let's get into the show, huh?
It up.
All right.
Bring up the dump truck. It's over.
It's over. You ever had this shit, Topo Chico?
No.
Mexican sparkling water. It's good shit.
You fancy bitch.
I know. I'm a big fan of the sparkling waters nowadays.
Man. When are you going
No.
to do your next IG post there, fangirl?
I don't know. Soon, probably.
You know what? I really want to start a joke page with just me. And I'm not going to get in shape or anything. I might get a little fatter for this. But I want to do all the poses. Like, I'll find like the pose of the day. And I'll just do a pose of what they're doing, except it'll be a fat white guy.
Yeah. So it'll be like the sorority girl pose with the.
Yeah. Maybe a couple shots at brunch. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if we'll have enough time.
Did he do this one, or it's something like what's the like the sorority, like group sorority picture?
Oh yeah, there's got to be like there's got to be 6 on the ground in front on their belly doing this. Yeah,
You gotta have the booty out, pop the booty.
Well, only the girls on the sides really get to do the booty shot like that. I know it. So
and I always wonder what the chicks in the middle, if they have a nice booty or if they're like flat ass white girls, so that they just keep them in the middle for a reason. I'm not really for sure how that works, but
if I was a chick, I would definitely tell. I'd be like, nope, I'm being in the middle because Hank Hill ass. I think I did orthotic at 40.
You're a power bottom for sure.
Speaking of the Hill family. Can I just say a fucking tragedy? We lost Dusty Hill.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Famous bassist from ZZ Top. My first concert was a ZZ. My first concert, I think it was like 10 or 11. And I went with my parents, and it was at the old McNichols Arena, like the last show before they tore that bitch down.
Yeah. And isn't that where the Nuggets used to play? The Nuggets and the Avalanche?
Yeah. Yep. Terry McNichols. And we were like extreme stage right. Like we were almost behind the band. So it's me, my mom, and dad watching Billy Gibbons. And like I start to smell this aroma. And I look at my dad and I was like, Dad, man, somebody is shitting their pants in this fucking concert. And he's like, no. And then, of course, he explained what it was. Then I look to the right. There's this burnt out biker. And he's there with his like 15-year-old son. I'm not even joking. 15, maybe 14. And they're fucking passing a fucking joint back and forth.
Yeah.
That was the first day I got, just
should have been
to the world.
He should have been focusing on writing papers, but instead he was rolling doobies.
His dad was the guy down by the river. I'm pretty sure.
Fuck yeah. God bless. God bless.
Dusty Hill, rip. Thank you for the great music.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to start off hot and heavy. This we're getting right into some Olympics. First of all, the Olympics are stupid. The Olympics are a giant waste of money.
I'm not the only one who doesn't watch the Olympics, right? I can't be the only one.
No, there's a lot of people that do. I know that there are, and a lot of people love it. And I like the idea behind the Olympics. Like America sending their best athletes and whatnot.
Yeah, I respect the athleticism.
Back when we were young, like growing up, say like 92, 96, even the 2000 Olympics, it was pretty fucking cool. And then you grow up and you're like, oh, these sports are meaningless. These sports are retarded. And, but whatever, it's still, and then you get a little more grown up and you realize like, oh, they spend like $20 billion to set up for their Olympic Village. And then once that's done, like, they just sank $20 billion in for a 2 week. How long is it? Like 2-3 weeks that the Olympics last?
Maybe. And they have like in other cities that hosted the Olympics, just like it almost looks like Chernobyl, just an abandoned like village.
Yeah.
You couldn't find something to do with that.
Yeah. And so then they decided, you know what is better than the Olympics? more Olympics. So then they add the Winter Olympics, which adds even more irrelevant sports into the mix. At which, if that's your deal, more power to you. More power to you. I like watching curling, and I'll even watch the speed walking just to laugh. I like to watch the speed walking for a good laugh. Gymnastics, however, has never, ever, ever been on the top of my priority list, as it has never been for 98 to 99% of American men. Would you agree?
A clarifying thing, I think I assume Matt McKinley respects the athleticism. He knows that, gymnasts are, but it is not his cup of tea.
No, as it is not for 98 to 99% of American males, whether they be black, white, Latino, or Latinx, Latinx, or whatever the fuck we're calling it nowadays. Men don't pay attention to gymnastics by and large. Up until yesterday, I forgot that Simone Biles was a person, to tell you the truth. And that is not taking anything away from her athletic ability. And the thing that made me remember that Simone Biles was indeed a person was my cousin Kristen shared a video of her floor routine the other day. And I watched that thing probably 20 times because this little gal she had to have got 6 foot in the air and spun. I don't know how many times. And I watched it. And like the only thing I could think of to say, and you can go look under my cousin Kristen's post. And I just said, holy shit. Because that was impressive. That was all I thought of.
I heard somewhere that she jumps higher than the guys do.
I believe it. Because if let me see if I can find that. But then apparently she backed out of the team event because, granted, the only reason I know this because my timeline on Instagram, Facebook, I guess those are really about the only 2 social media I'm on anymore. I have a Twitter, but I don't. I go to Twitter just to see what everybody's pissed off about. Twitter used to be a good time. But anyway, apparently she backed out because there was something to do with the judges not like they were going to judge her differently because they're like it reminds me of semi-pro because let's take a look at this video real quick. And because it is impressive. Right here.
Oh, this is the one where she jumps higher than even I could even jump, or higher than me.
I mean,
look at that.
Look at that shit. One more time.
She's like 8 feet off the floor.
Like that's fucking insane. Like insane. All right. So yes, while I don't pay attention to gymnastics and I truly don't give a shit about gymnastics, I don't give a shit about the Olympics. Matt, that's
do you
impressive.
give a shit about the Olympics?
Not one. But that was impressive. that is like that's you're just like the only thing I could think of to say, and I stand by it, is holy shit. That was wild. She had to have got 6 foot in the air and spun and flipped and whatever. I don't know. That's impressive.
She got the yips.
Yeah, which
she got the
do yips. You see that? How do you not get the yips? I've flipped in the air a couple of times when I got bucked off. Yeah, I can see how you get the yips, but whatever. But they also, and like I said, I didn't verify this, but apparently the judges were like that scene from Semi-Pro where they do the very first alley-oop and the ref just blows the whistle. He's like, foul. 2 fouls. You can't just fly through the air like that. 2 fouls. And that's kind of what it sounded like the judges were. So they're like, yeah, we're not going to even judge that part. We're just going to judge everything that's not that cool. And so like, she's not, I don't know if this is true. I honestly don't, but it's what I heard, that she's not being judged fairly. And then she got the yips. She had a couple bad dismounts or some, whatever. I don't know. Cause I don't care about gymnastics or the Olympics.
It's amazing that like, why is this the story? You know,
my point,
like,
exactly.
I know we're talking about mental health now. Yes, I haven't been a professional, but I got the yips. Is like doubting yourself in a moment. Is that mental health now?
I guess, but
I respect her because she took herself out because she thought she was going to get hurt or wasn't up to the task or whatever.
Or she thought she was going to.
I don't fucking care.
Yeah, she thought she was going to hurt the team. Regardless, I don't care how anybody feels about that whole situation. The fact that I had a bunch of grown ass men all up in my timeline talking about how she's a quitter and she's a coward and blah, blah, blah. And now she's setting a bad example for my kids. It is not Simone Biles' job to set a good example for my kids. That is my fucking job. It's not the media's job to spin the narrative to set her a good example for my kids. Who fucking cares? Inflation is through the roof. We're on the verge of locking down again for this bullshit virus. Yeah, and these same people that are talking about this all will proudly fly Trump flags. A guy who multiple times fucked a porn star and paid them to shut up about it. A guy who is on audio recordings talking about how these women, when you're so rich, it doesn't matter. You just walk up and you grab them by the pussy. That statement's kind of funny, but is that a good representation for our kids? A guy who failed at a business, so he declared bankruptcy, fucked over so many contractors. This is all on record, by the way, so don't come at me, Trumpers. And you'll treat him like a golden fucking god, but God forbid a 24-year-old girl back out of the Olympics because that's setting a bad example for your children. Fuck all the way off with that bullshit. None of you really care. None of you care about this, and you fell for the oldest media trick in the book. The media is a mouthpiece for the administration. We all know that. It's been apparent for decades now. And you know what they do? They distract you from the real issues, and that's exactly what happened today. Nobody cares about Simone Biles. Sorry, Simone Biles. Nobody gives a fuck. Everybody acts like they give a fuck because they want to be mad at something. Pay attention to the shit that really matters. Who cares? Who cares? Sorry, Simone.
Matt, you're quite angry right now. Did you get your dick stuck in a mousetrap again?
That's classified information. Let's talk about the real issues. Mousetraps hurt like a motherfucker.
This is why Matt's dick is calloused.
That's right. It's some might say deformed. I say special.
Can I bring up a little bit of just joy and happiness?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So today I read on Twitter that the Matt Stone and Trey Parker, the creators of South Park, are wanting to buy Casa Bonita. And in their statement, they said they just want it to be done right because it was going downhill even before COVID. Two things. These men will dedicate their money to make this thing awesome, which makes me sad because now I probably can't go there. But two, they actually visited Casa Bonita pre-pandemic, so it wasn't like a bucket list. They just fucking went.
Mhm.
That is fucking amazing. Oh, I hope they do it.
I shared that post that you I put it on my story, and somebody messaged me. He's like, "Is that restaurant any good?" And I was like, "No, fuck no, it's terrible." But when you were a kid, Casa Bonita is the shit.
Well, speaking of Casa Bonita, I've told this story before.
Is that how you got the Super AIDS?
Oh yeah, we'll get into that too, you son of a bitch. Since we have more listeners now, I got to tell this fucking story. So I lived in Denver 33 years. Casa Bonita, always went. Had my firstborn, ever since he was born, we were talking about stuff we want to take him to, and Casa Bonita was one of them. So Vern hits like 2.5. He's in fucking diapers. Wife goes, she's off in Michigan or something. We go to Casa Bonita. We have a fucking great time. Watch the fucking divers with the gorilla chasing around.
Wow.
We get sopapillas. He doesn't eat much of the food because even a 2-year-old will not eat much Casa Bonita, even if there's cheese all over it. And he fucking loves cheese.
Yeah.
We have a good time.
Like a real American.
We go around, we go into the cave, fucking everything. I'm the best fucking dad. He loves me. I'm just at the top of his list. So I put him to bed for nap time and I go downstairs. I play some video games. It's the fucking perfect day, Matt. The fucking perfect day. About 3 hours later, son starts to stir upstairs. I can hear him little pitter patters and stuff. I go upstairs and I hit the top of the stairs and his doorway is about 20 feet from the stairs. And I just smell shit. I fucking smell shit. So I'm like, all right, you know what? What's the worst? Blowout, whatever. We had a great day. Cool. Open the fucking door. Hits me in the face. He says, "Hi, Dad." He's got his diaper off. He took a shit in the middle of the fucking room. And then he dragged his ass like some fucking dog. Just fucking marks. Just NASCAR marks all over my already shitty carpet.
The Ellis household became the Wormy Dog Saloon.
It's and fucking super hip. So no, I had the fucking plague. Shitting out of my ass. Fucking my son's throwing up. My sons threw up on not only their beds, they threw up in our bed. They threw up in this recliner that I so love, and they threw up on the couch. So
awesome.
Parents, watch out because your asshole might blow out if they bring that shit home.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. And that's the Danger the Grouch asshole update of the week. We're fair to good.
Good. Well, that's good. Did you stay hydrated? That's important.
Oh, we had Pedialyte. We got Pedialyte.
Nice. Before we get into, let me see if I can find this video. I haven't actually seen it yet, but
lot of dicks.
Super amount of dicks. Yeah, this is the one. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard about it. Because the January 6th commission started today. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yesterday.
Was it yesterday? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I watched some of it.
This is a good one. Adam Kinzinger.
Oh, is this when he was crying? I can't hear it, Matt.
Oh,
but
sorry.
I know what happened.
Oh, hold on.
Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da,
share
da.
sound. I forgot to share sound. That's my bad.
Worst thing my wife did is taught my son the saying "sharing
Thank you,
is
Mr.
caring."
Chairman, and thank you to my colleagues on the committee.
Can you hear that
Thank you
now?
to our witnesses.
We're good.
I never expected today to be quite as emotional for me as it has been. I've talked to a number of you and gotten to know you.
It's real emotional.
I think it's important to tell you right now, though. You guys may individually feel a little broken. You guys all talk about the effects you have to deal with, and you talk about the impact of that day.
Investigating the insurrection.
You guys won. You guys held. Democracies are not defined by our bad days. We're defined by how we come back from bad days, how we take accountability for that. And for all the overheated rhetoric surrounding this committee, our mission is very
Hilarious.
simple.
He's talking about overheated rhetoric
find
while
the
he's
truth.
fake crying.
And it's to ensure accountability. Like most Americans, I'm frustrated that 6 months after a deadly insurrection breached the United States.
Deadly for who, Adam Kinzinger? Deadly for who? There was like 4 people that died, and they were all Trump supporters.
So even from a guy who thinks that they should throw the book at those people, I don't think you could call it an insurrection. It wasn't organized as many think, but it was a big stain. But for a guy who's like so pissed off about that, the hearing should be why it failed. And none of it is like why the security failed. And none of it is being focused on that. Like none.
Hey, but that was like Emmy worthy though. I mean, that was a great cry there, Adam Kinzinger. You fucking chode. Jesus Christ.
I know politicians can do cry, but like anytime they're in public and crying, I'm just like, no, you're full of shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hey, and by the way, Kinzinger, I know like it's not real popular to throw the gender card around, but you're a fucking man. Act like it. Jesus Christ, man.
He's an Illinois Republican.
But he's also he touts himself as veteran of the armed forces. Turns out he was a squishy officer that didn't actually see any combat. I mean, hats off to you. You served your country, but just that. What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that?
His face angers Matt.
No, I heard a quote. I forget who. I don't know who to contribute it to, but Washington D.C. is Hollywood for ugly people.
I heard that too.
That is the perfect example of that. By the way, that's my douchebag of the week. I hadn't even thought about that till I was listening to the news today, and I was like, he cried. What is he, Glenn Beck? Come on. He cried during the 1-6 commission hearing. Fuck.
So Matt,
all the way off.
That leads to our first question. Who is the ugliest person in Washington?
Oof.
Actually, you know what? Let's put it this way. Like, yeah. Who's the ugliest? Who's the
Diane
one
Feinstein?
Oh, Diane
Feinstein.
Like,
Feinstein.
Male or female?
Yeah, that's true. That Castro guy is pretty ugly too.
The cast.
Chris Friel said the road to Washington is paved with the tears of failed actors. I love it. That's Chris Friel. Hats off to you, buddy. I'm going to send you a shirt just for that. That made me laugh.
Well played, sir. I got. You know what? Oh, who would be the ugly? I feel like not Chuck Schumer. Adam Schiff.
Adam Schiff is Jerry Nadler too.
I feel like Jerry Nadler's just 10,000 years old. And like, once you hit 10,000, how could you not be
well,
not
and
good looking?
he was also like 10,000 pounds at one point. Now he's just like extra skin.
he's a double roast beef from Arby's.
Yeah. And this is something you have to appreciate about Trump is Fat Jerry. It was such a good nickname. I mean, he was so good at those like little childish nicknames. Little Marco, that was good.
I feel like he just adds like simple adjectives to things.
That's it. But that's the genius of it. It's fucking genius.
It's almost like the insult you get when you were in elementary school. You know,
right?
There's nothing like it's not a complicated adjective.
It's a third grade insult, but it sticks. It's like you fart in class and they'll call you farty pants for the rest of your fucking life. I mean, it sticks.
If there was a kid in class that shit his pants or didn't wipe properly, he probably called him skid mark. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. Yeah, it was huge. It was a huge turd.
It was the skid mark, long, huge, trust me.
Tremendous
smell coming off of it.
He does the tremendous.
Yes. And then when he's dissing you, he doesn't look you in the face. He looks the other way. Your mother's a whore and you're a cocksucker.
What is it with the hand movements with like the especially charismatic politicians? Like Bill Clinton just did the thumb.
And
Trump does like the.
They probably have some fucking 20-year-old millennium as their fucking communications director. Be like, okay, today you have to keep on doing those hand signals. That's how people identify with you. Not, that you're orange or fucking have that coif over your head, but make sure you do this.
I buy that for Clinton. I buy that for the rest of them. I don't buy that for Trump because he's way too much of a narcissist. He's like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. And he's not wrong, because when Trump is just up there riffing, like when he's reading off a teleprompter, he's god awful. But when he's riffing, like, he's pretty good. Like if you don't treat him as a politician, like I said way back when I started this podcast, if you treat him like a comedian, the he's on fire most of the time.
If presidents were comedians, he would be, who was that Italian guy? Hey, yo. And he did the nursery rhymes with like cussing. That'd be Trump.
Yeah, maybe. I watched his speech in Arizona the other day for this election audit thing. And I just felt like it was like a Rolling Stones reunion tour. He's just playing the hits.
Like, I have a strong feeling that he didn't think he could win last go round. Actually, South Park did a whole season on this, and I think it's accurate.
See, I watched. Obviously I'm way behind on South Park, but Dice Clay,
Dice Clay,
Chris, good job, Chris DeGidio. That's
So I'm pretty
Trump
sure
is the Andrew Dice Clay of presidents. You're right.
Yes, he is. Like, not even close. But I think the first go round, he didn't think he was going to win, but he saw it as like a promotional money making thing. Mm-hmm. I guarantee he's going to do the same thing this go round, except just in case he loses,
or is already.
Let's
get into that. Let's get into that.
10 steps ahead of the game.
Let's get into that, because he has raised something like $75 million in this super PAC that was supposed to fund these election audits.
And it's not even going to the election audit.
Zero. Shit. He has spent zero of that. Which he's probably banking a war chest for a presidential run, which, this thing's going to come crashing down eventually. So we might as well fucking laugh while it's going. So I'm all in favor. I'm not going to vote for him this time around, but I mean, I'm in favor of it. Politics is a grift all the way around, no matter which side you're on.
It's shit.
Yep.
That's why we're grouchy old men.
Pretty much. I covered quite a bit the other day. So let's focus on what do you got, and I'll add commentary.
Fuck, Matt, put me on the spot here.
Well, yeah. Let me
So
pull up here.
Did you talk about Jeff Bezos at all in the rocket?
No, and in his giant space dildo.
Look, like, come on, dude. You're building a rocket that if we as idiots had enough money, we would build. Just a giant. It was almost like a Trump dick. It was just a giant mushroom at the top.
It just was not orange. That's the only downfall.
The thing about the Bezos thing I wanted to talk about is all these people bashing Bezos for going to space with his money. Couple things. One, history has a ton of rich guys doing shit that people may think like, oh, there's worse problems, but they're doing this. And it turns into innovation. It fucking turns into innovation.
Yeah.
Two, half you fucking people complain about it. I guarantee, because it's like my house. How many fucking orders from Amazon do you have every day to make your life easier? I mean, I'm not like saying Amazon, the company, has done all the right things, but in this particular category, people bitching at Bezos for fucking building a rocket to have private space travel. Like, you're bashing him on that. I mean, he put it together. So that one just kind of fucking rubbed me the wrong way.
Speaking of rubbed the wrong way,
Naughty versus 4.
I don't know if you've seen this one or not, but
I can't believe that's what it looks like. I can't fucking believe it.
There's more along those lines. Let me find. But you're right. Jeff Bezos is probably a giant piece of shit. I'm not gonna lie. Like some of his business practices are incredibly unethical or unethical. And he gets a lot of government subsidies, so that and in that way, yeah. And the government almost gave him $10 billion to build this giant space dildo. Luckily, the Republicans, for once, actually did something and blocked that. So that's good. So as far as we know, there wasn't any taxpayer funds that went to sending the giant dick into space. So if that's the case, it's his money, and
he needs it now,
right? And they're talking about how it however much money it spent for 11 minutes in space. I forget. Oh, and our buddy Jake was giving me a hard time about. He called it a straw man argument, that because all these people were like, oh, this is why we need to have a wealth tax on the rich, because they can just send a dick into space. It is their money. I don't have any say over what they do with their money. I don't care. Now, when it comes,
did you ask Scurry if he had recently bought anything off of Amazon?
No, I just he said that this argument is meaningless because it was just a meme that I shared, and it was like however much money that Bezos spent for 11 minutes in space, and then it was like, but also the federal government spends like $11 million per minute every minute for every day or for the rest of the year. So, and he's like, well, that's a meaningless argument. I was like, how so? And he said, it's a classic straw man. And I was like, which part? The fact that people were calling for a wealth tax, because because of this, or the fact that the government spends that much? Because both of those are true. And correct me if I'm wrong, but straw man typically means that, you know, you're setting up an argument that doesn't, or a scenario that doesn't actually exist, right? Isn't that the definition of a straw man?
That's what I would assume.
Okay. Well, so if people were calling for a wealth tax on the rich because of this, that part's true. And then the government spends. Well, what was this infrastructure bill that they're trying to get spent? The original proposal was like $2 trillion, which is half of the budget from 2 years ago. $4 trillion is what the government spent in total 2 years ago. Now they're talking $2 trillion just for the stimulus bill. Now I think they've got it sliced and diced down to 1.2 trillion. That's still a quarter of what the budget was 2 years ago, just on one bill. So maybe the math was slightly off, but it was in the ballpark. So there was no straw man there, Jake, unless they changed the definition of straw man. How about that one? They
what the fuck is this? I would have called the blue one blue waffle personally.
Blue waffle. I like the galactic. That one's.
Wow, my butthole's puckering just looking at these.
They're very menacing.
I feel like they kind of like they did well on the last two, but they almost gave up naming the blue one.
I know,
like
but they made it look the meanest though. I mean, it's terrifying. It's like super Smurf dick.
I feel like they could have done better. Like they could have named it like Uranus. That bam.
Yeah. Blue. So Blue Origin is the name of Bezos's company. So blue. I mean, it fits, but it's not.
I would have never guessed that.
No, I'd say Galactic. That's probably the best one. I think as far as naming goes. You
know what they could have done? They could have called the blue one Veinos. I mean, that would have fit in space.
Veinos. That's good. I've not watched any of those movies, but I know I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that it plays. It plays.
I feel like I've if you watch the movie, like Veinos is terrifying, and I feel like that's what his dick would look like.
Yeah, and that's so for everybody that's just going to be listening on audio, so we have. Bezos has Blue Origin. Elon Musk has SpaceX, and then Richard Branson has Virgin Galactic. And this, I don't know if they specialize in sex toys or if they're a porn company, but they're in the porn industry somehow. And they created these dildos. Yeah. And so the Bezos model is just a big blue veiny dick, and it's called Blue Orgasm. The SpaceX one is called Space Sex, and it kind of looks like an orca turned into a butt plug, kind of. And then
it's a rocket ship.
Yeah, and then Virgin Galactic is now just Galactic. And it kind of looks like a dolphin, but also a dick.
It's a dolph dick.
Dolph dick. Dolph dick.
But the blue one should be called Veinos. I'm sorry.
Veinos. It should be. I like that. I like that. That's a solid. That's solid.
What are Marvel's going to back them?
Pun intended. And there you go. My buddy, I'm not sure how he says his name. It's Paavo. He signed up as the big swinging Richard on Patreon. So there you go, Pavo. The dick joke of the week goes to you.
There you
go. You can take your pick out of Blue Orgasm / Veinos or SpaceX and Galactic. I'm pretty partial to Galactic because it looks like a dolphin, and dolphins are cool.
I kind of want to change all my names on my social media accounts to Veinos.
I think we might put our heads on do you want galactic or do you want blue orgasm?
I got to have blue orgasm after fucking hyping it up so much.
I'll put you on galactic, or on blue orgasm. I'll put myself on galactic. That'll be our movie poster for this week.
And you know what? $10, fucking, you get fucking banned on all these social sites, but I guarantee that won't.
No,
that
won't.
Obscene picture of fucking dildos on a fucking
yeah, because it's not.
Whoa.
It's not a real dick. So,
whoa.
I mean, are dicks even a thing anymore? I mean, like if we're not doing gender, whatever. Oh, by the way, apparently there's a pregnant man emoji now, which is that's neat. I didn't know we needed that, but
well, yeah.
I mean, I didn't know until I heard about it I didn't know we needed it until I heard about it, and then I was like, well, of course we need a pregnant man emoji. Why wouldn't we have a pregnant man emoji?
That's right. You got to think of the American motto.
Right?
Why not?
Well, and you also got to think of rule number 34 of the internet. If you can imagine it, somebody has made a porn about it.
Porn movies are kind of like the chicken and the egg. Like, did it happen or did the porno start first? Is there a storyline or was it a porno? That's the chicken and the egg.
That's true. Somebody said they'll take the couch that we have for sale. Do you have a couch for sale?
I do not. Do you?
No. I mean, no. I could sell a couch, but my wife would not be happy if I did. Sorry, buddy. I'll look around. I'll keep an ear to the ground for you, but I don't have any.
What type of couch is he looking for?
I don't know. He just said, I will take the couch you have for sale. Delvin, I think is his name. D'Alvin. I'm not sure if that's a ghetto name or not. So if it's either extremely white or it's a ghetto name. So it's either Delvin or D'Alvin. I'm going to go with D'Alvin because ghetto names are cool. D'Alvin. That's sorry, buddy. I don't have a couch for sale. I'll look around.
Craigslist is on a different app.
It is Facebook Marketplace. They're very spammy lately, though. There's not many like actual postings of stuff for sale. It's all like promoted stuff, sponsored ads. So
do you remember me and Tim's whoopsie on Craigslist?
With
one of our buddies.
With the puppies?
Oh no, that was early on in the day.
Yeah, because I replayed the puppies deal. I got Mandel with the puppies.
We got banned so fast. So no, early on in the day, it was April Fool's, and of course, once every 4 years, we all get a hair up our ass. We're like, oh, we're just gonna fuck with each other all day.
Mm-hmm.
So we put up free puppies, and can't remember whose number was on there.
My email was part of that. You never put my number up there, but I did get some emails.
I used to love the fuck with Red. I would give all of his emails to the recruiters, like
Marine recruiters.
Yeah, in like high school. Every time I saw one, I had Red's number fucking memorized. Put it down. But that day, so we had a buddy named Pipkin. And he was...
I remember Pipkin.
He was a cool dude, good ball player. He was kind of getting serious with this girl. He'd been with her for a while. And like, this was so stupid thinking back on it now going through all this shit. We put up like... a congratulations on the wedding. or congratulations on the proposal. And then like 3 months later, they broke up. I'm pretty sure me and Tim are the reason for that. Yeah.
I believe that. I do vaguely remember that.
And he tried to tell, like, we felt bad. He's like, oh, no, it wasn't that. I was like, bullshit. Fucking, they had the shitter get off the pot time. And fucking, it was because of dickhead Tim and me.
So D. Alvin is very serious about this couch. He said the title of the video says couch for sale. Oh, it's not supposed to say that. So if it said that, I apologize. Facebook's a fucky company right now. It doesn't. It says right here, Fence Post Politics, the only source for unfiltered, nonsensical, fakish news that you never asked for, which is true. I'm sorry, I don't know where the couch came from, but he's got $150 and he doesn't care about the white spots on it. So I will get on Craigslist after we're done here, and I'm going to get you a damn couch.
You got anything else for sale?
Oh, I got everything's for sale. You want a kid?
Buy one, get one free.
I mean, I'd rather not put one in you, but if the price is right.
Matt ain't got no shame.
No shame. No shame. All right. So what else we got here?
Trying to think what.
Let's see that, because I covered the boycott, the best sanction stuff on Tuesday. This is another. It's kind of like the Simone Biles situation. I don't care about the Israeli-Palestine conflict all that much either way. I just don't really care. And I also don't care that Ben and Jerry's didn't want to sell in the West Bank. Like that, it makes zero difference to me. And it should make zero difference to the state of Florida, the state of Texas, the state of Oklahoma, and the other 33 states that have anti-BDS sanctions, which is blatantly unconstitutional.
Well, we were chatting the other day. It's hilarious that there'll be people who support this Israeli boycott of Ben and Jerry's, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to people boycotting Chick-fil-A, I guarantee they're up in arms.
Right.
A little bit of hypocrisy there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And so, but either way, whatever Unilever, which is the parent company of Ben and Jerry's, they're not a real great company. However, Ben and Jerry's is an American company, and what they want to do with their product in Israel, they should not face sanctions in the state of Florida for it. That is fucking retarded, and it's unconstitutional. And this is coming from a state that is run by, supposedly America First Republicans. Well, as I said, are you America first or are you Israel first? I don't care how good of friends we are with Israel. They have no say in what happens in domestic policy. They should have no say in what happens in U.S. domestic policy because they're a foreign country.
And don't people on the right get pissed off when China tries to do the same thing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
But I digress.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, I think that covers that. I'm trying to find the.
Matt, did you not read my emails?
I did. I'm just trying to find it.
So I sent you an article a couple hours ago. Really good, which is amazing because it's by the Slate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Slate's awful, but sometimes they do good work. Same with Vox, and same way with some of like the crazy right wing sites. Every now and then they do a good article. Like Vanity Fair did a really good article about the lab leak here the other day.
that I'll give you some time to read it, but it was great because it kind of went through why there's distrust of the CDC and Fauci, where
that was through a text, right?
Yeah, and it was basically going through all these things where it was almost like the author called it a noble lie. And even though a noble lie has noble intentions, it still erodes trust in, the CDC and Fauci. Really good article. I recommend everybody read it because, it explains, and I think rightfully so, why people are hesitant to trust, some of the guidelines that are coming down from top medical places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they've been
of
full of shit for a while now.
And yes, the slate, it's very good. I recommend everybody read it. It is fantastic.
I will read that tomorrow. But yeah, that's Rand Paul has just been kicking the dog shit out of Fauci for like 2 months now.
That's his only job now, apparently.
Basically, but and it's funny is like Fauci disappeared for about a month after Rand Paul roasted him on the gain of function funding, which happened, and then Fauci kept trying to walk it back. He's like, "Well, that's not gain of function." I'm like, "Well, it kind of is. It seems like it, according to your definition just the other day." And this Fauci is a real piece of shit. I mean,
during that hearing, I was waiting for him to use the old Bill Clinton line. He's like, "Well, let's define what is."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he's just another case of where once you get high up in the government, you don't you fail upward. Even though he was like the head guy on the AIDS epidemic back in the 80s and 90s, and he was the guy that was responsible for, which turned out to be completely false. He was the one that spread the notion that you could contract HIV just simply by touching somebody who's infected. Turns out that's not true at all. You have to swap bodily fluids. But because of that, people with HIV basically become like a lower class citizen. And he never really walked that back, which, whatever. Maybe he thought he was right, but turns out he was provably wrong. So that should discredit you from being an epidemiologist or the leading epidemiologist or virologist, whatever. Virologist, yeah.
Potato virologist.
Yeah, potato, tomato, same thing. D'Alvin was just fucking with us. Well, good work, buddy. Well, I'm still gonna find you a couch, and I'll put a white spot on it if I have to. I want my $150.
And if you found this couch because it was such a good prank, you will get the George Costanza pose from Aaron on said couch with Lil John Hancock.
And if enough people sign up on Patreon, I will go to the spot that where they had the George Floyd mural that got struck by lightning. I will bring you a brick that got struck by lightning to put on your couch.
Did it really get struck by lightning?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
God smote George Floyd posthumously.
If I've lived there, I'd be moving because there's just bad vibes and stuff lightning striking down. Nope, I'm out. I'm out.
Boy, that's another classic case of people just really want their narrative to be right. They don't care what the circumstances lead. George Floyd probably shouldn't have died, but let's not make him into a saint. The dude held a loaded gun to a pregnant woman's belly when he was robbing her, and he was not a good dude.
Yeah, the cop wasn't a good dude either.
No, let's not lionize either one of them. They were both pieces of shit.
That's right. Don't lionize them. That's right. That's good comment. Yeah.
But it's so they made a mural of him, and it literally got struck by lightning and was destroyed.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that tells
he was not happy with it.
That would be a sign. I'm like, yep, I'm out of this. Like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Done.
I cannot find that email that you sent the other day.
Jesus H. McKinley. Just ramble on for about a couple minutes then.
Okay.
Let me find it. Let Daddy come in and rescue.
I don't even know how to sort my emails. Damn it. It's been forever since we did one of these, so I've got a lot of emails.
I had so much, and then I got the plague coming out of my butt that I totally forgot what I sent you.
Yeah, well, butt plague is the worst plague. That was last week, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Finding an email. Matt gets on my ass for nothing.
Riveting content for everybody. And
let's talk about the couch. What else features does this couch have?
For $150, it's going to be hard to get a built-in refrigerator. So that's probably out. But we can probably get faux leather.
What type of smell will be emitted from this couch?
God only knows. God only knows. What's today? The 28th. So this would have been.
I feel like the couch has to have semen smell with a hint of Alpine freshener being rubbed on it.
Yeah.
So,
cab driver air freshener, like the simple pine tree air freshener mixed with spewed.
Maybe a little pina colada if you want to get spicy.
Ooh. Well, pina colada is sweet, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's muy caliente.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Here we go, Matt.
You got it? All right.
All right. So did you cover the Texas Dems?
I've mentioned them, but that was hilarious too.
So it's
I'm gonna let you run with that. I'm gonna open this door here. It's fucking hot.
So essentially what happened was there was a bunch of Texas state Democrats who left the city to go to Washington because they wanted to avoid a vote on, can't remember what the vote was, maybe voting rights. And so they left and basically left them all hanging. Of course, we've heard the story over the years. Governor talking about arresting them and making them go to session, whatever. Of course, it gets better. The 6 of them on this flight, I don't know, maybe like 30 or 40, 6 of them have now been reported to have COVID. There was no mask wearing on the plane, wasting taxpayers' money, of course. And they met with the vice president. And so, and one of Pelosi's aides tested positive. So haven't heard the VP, but it's just amazing that they go on and on about COVID safety, about this and that. And here's a prime example of them. And yes, you know what? I'm vaccinated. I would never think I would catch it again. But of course, like everything else in the world, it's never absolute. So you're always going to have some breakthrough cases. But I think they went into it thinking this was going to be such a political win. Mm-hmm. Get their cause out, go to Washington. But like Mr. Smith goes to Washington, Jimmy fucking Stewart. And it's just.
And they flew on Delta Airlines, or was it Delta or United? One of the two. But if it was United, and I think it was Delta actually. But if you remember, there was a big stink this last summer, when the mask mandates were really going into effect. And United for sure, and I think Delta as well, started putting people on no-fly lists if they refused to wear a mask on the airplane.
Oh, I didn't realize this section of the story.
Yeah. And so everyone, and there's like 50 something, wasn't there like 50 Texas Democrats?
I only saw shots. It looked like anywhere between 30 and somewhere around that number.
Yeah. A significant number, and not a single one of them wearing a mask, which I'm fine with. I don't care. That's I think that should be a personal choice. But however, this is the party that if you don't wear a mask, you're selfish and you just want to kill grandma. But none of them wore a mask. They're all vaccinated, because this vaccine's the best thing since sliced bread. 6 of them tested positive. Pelosi's aide tested positive. And in the meantime, they're not doing their fucking job. They're going to lose that vote. Abbott has said that he's just going to continue to call emergency sessions until the vote takes place. And so they did this you have to have a quorum. So you have to have at least a majority of the chamber there to take a vote. And so by doing so, or is it 2/3 or I forget what the quorum is, but there's a certain percentage you have to meet a quorum in order to take a vote. So this is why they fled the state. Have they made it back to Texas yet? I don't think they have they?
No, they haven't. Well, and you know what? I'm sorry. I may be one of the only few individuals, but I'm trying to think. I think Republicans have pulled some shit like this. I'm sure they have.
They did that in Oregon.
Just as pissed off.
They did it in Oregon here a couple of years ago. Did the same thing, and I get the sentiment behind it, but you're getting paid to vote on legislation, to make legislation. So I mean, it's your job. So you're not only actively avoiding your job, not doing your job, but doing it in a very public way. And it
didn't turn out very well.
No, not at all. Not
so
at all.
I have some interesting COVID numbers for you.
Okay.
And I know it's your right to not get vaccinated, but I wanted you to at least have these numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So breakthrough cases, or definition is you get COVID after you're vaccinated by the CDC. Currently there are 5,000. Well, this was, I don't know, a week ago. 5,189 hospitalizations out of 157 million. Of that, 1,000.
How many hospitalizations now?
5,189 out of 157 million.
Okay.
Of that, 1,063 deaths. Of that, 4,109 younger than 65. Of that, 1,017 were asymptomatic. Delta is now 83% of new cases. So what I really wanted to talk about, and it's more about Trumpers and Bideners. So it's amazing how Trumpers are weary of the vaccine now, even though it was under Trump's watch. And I'm pretty sure if Trump was in office, there wouldn't be any hesitation, and vice versa. I bet Bideners would be very hesitant. So you'd have the same situation, except fucking reverse. And just, it's amazing that tribalism has taken over so much that if somebody else was in charge, it would be the exact flip situation. Because all I heard during Trump's time when the vaccine was getting formulated, and Matt knows, I don't like Trump. He's done some good things. One of the good things was he let private business take this over. And all I heard was hesitancy from the left. That's all I heard. but now it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Mm-hmm.
Which the numbers, I mean, it's not the perfect thing, but I mean, if you're vaccinated, most numbers are you're not going to die, you're not going to get hospitalized, even though numbers are low. But still, it's just fucking amazing to me, Matt, because there was such hesitancy, and then bam, Biden's in, and as soon as he got in, it was okay again.
Yeah,
like what the fuck is that?
Well, and there's that, and then there's also the fact that like we have people in the media and people in the Democratic Party talking about how we're basically trying to create a caste system here versus, vaccinated versus unvaccinated. And as I've said many, many, many times, I'm not anti-vaccine. However, the way that they rolled this thing out, it was rushed, and maybe the science is sound. I don't know. None of us really know. We don't know any of the long-term side effects because it has not been out long-term. And the fact that all these companies kept they get to keep the intellectual property, meaning they hold the patent to these vaccines, and they hold no liability for any side effects.
It's still emergency authorized.
Yes,
it's still emergency authorized. Yeah,
that's a red flag for me, is that they held no accountability. These are multi-billion-dollar companies. Pfizer made $32 billion in the first quarter profit, not revenue, profit. Most of that spurred by the vaccine. And should we find out 5 years from now that, the whole thing about women becoming sterile because of it, if that turns up true, guess what? Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca hold zero liability for that.
Well, let's be honest. They use that sterilization thing for pretty much all vaccines.
Yes, they do. And I'm not saying that's a real deal. I'm saying if that should happen,
hypothetically, yeah.
All those people that trusted these companies have zero recourse because of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that in and of itself is what made me made me weary. And now the fact that they're just trying to cram it down your throat, and then it's very. Like they're already talking about making it mandatory for federal employees. They're putting pressure on private companies to require it. And
I'm sorry, shame on the great unifier for making that fucking stupid ass comment yesterday.
What did he say yesterday?
Something to the extent like people who are unvaccinated are not as smart as he thought they were.
Oh, right. I did see that. Yeah.
And you know what?
Fuck off, Joe Biden. You can't even finish a goddamn sentence.
That article really kind of explains why there's hesitancy. And I get it, man. Like all the messaging, I've said 1,000 times, the worst thing about this whole thing and why shit's fucked up is messaging.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the reason everybody treats everybody like shit nowadays, is because they're constantly being told what to do. And now the same thing is happening. You already have distrust of the government, and now they're telling you what to do. I mean, are you shocked people are fucking making these choices? I'm not.
Yeah, you have the Surgeon General saying that vaccine misinformation is like the greatest public health threat right now. So what is misinformation? We've proven this. The 5 different videos have been pulled down off of YouTube simply for reporting what we've heard in the news. Simply for reporting that.
An article or something.
Yeah. Or taken right from the World Health Organization website. Back in June of last year, they changed the definition of herd immunity. I forget what the percentage is. I think it's usually like 60 to 70% of people either having natural immunity through a prior infection or through vaccination. They changed that definition to simply through vaccination. That's not how herd immunity works.
And if you
go to if you go to Israel, Israel is like one of the most highly vaccinated countries on earth. And if you look at the studies from there, they've shown that natural immunity is like 6 times stronger than the vaccine. So if you catch COVID and recover, you have like 6 times the strength of immunity than you would just from getting a vaccine.
And I have super terrific vaccine. Plus I got the fucking COVID early on. I was testing it out for y'all. It was not fun.
And now you're also immune to super AIDS. So, I mean, like you're almost indestructible.
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. No, I'm immune to super AIDS, just not explosive plague asshole diarrhea. That's what it is. My asshole is my Achilles heel.
The Achilles sphincter.
Sphincter has fucking been pounded in my life and it's just falling out.
Oh man, I don't know where that. I'm still looking for that email, but whatever. Yeah, it's just the messaging before, like with Trump, wasn't good, and now the messaging now is just straight up authoritarian. Reeks, and I'm not going to use the Nazi Germany comparison because that's a lazy comparison, but you're basically creating, like I said, a caste system, apartheid, however you want to say it. Instead of black versus white, you're having vaccinated versus unvaccinated. And this whole country was founded on individual liberty. And everything that they're doing now is flying right in the face of that.
Speaking of United States values that we should all have and hold and love, can I tell you my shithead of the week?
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's a whole group.
Okay.
It is the Train Point USA, which is a Christian organization, conservative Christian organization that, political talks and shit like that. I don't know what their designation is. They probably bash on the Republicans' opponent or something. They're a nonprofit.
Allegedly.
And in the spirit of acceptance of one's individual choices, they banned Brandy Love, who I'm sure if you're 35, you know who Brandy Love is.
We're all familiar with her work.
Yes, she's a porn star. They kicked her out of the conference, not only betraying their conservative ideals of do whatever the fuck you want, but also I would say the Christian ideals, because isn't there a story in the Bible that says, basically be nice to whores?
Yeah. Yeah, Jesus hung out with the prostitute. Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of mess of hypocrisy happening there. So since it's a Christian organization, I won't say my shithead group of the week. I'll say the not smart.
No, hypocrite. Christians can be shitheads too. They're the shithead of the week. Them and Adam Kinzinger and his stupid crying face. That what a fucking joke that was.
I've seen my 5-year-old act more natural crying than he did it at that hearing.
Right. And like my kids will pull that too. But at least I can be like, hey, knock that shit off, and they will. Like they know.
Fucking house. Not in this fucking house.
They know better. And
pick it up. You're better than that.
Right. It's no, it's just, and it goes to show like we had the Haitian president that was assassinated here a couple weeks ago. But prior to that, the Haitian people have been protesting against their government for like the past 3 years. I didn't know that because nobody talked about it at all. But apparently they've been protesting in the streets for a long time. But as soon as the Cuban people start protesting, boy, the Republicans are all on that. They are all about it. You have the mayor of Miami calling for airstrikes. Airstrikes against who exactly? Like we tried airstrikes in Cuba before, and that turned out real well. And I stand with both those people. Like if they want liberty, like I'm individual liberty is my baseline political position. Like that's my baseline of everything. Individual liberty. So yeah, I hope that something comes out of the Cuba deal, but airstrike, like what? What? Have we not learned our lesson from I don't know, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Djibouti?
No, it's fine because it's a tiny island.
Yeah, we also tried to overthrow the government in Venezuela, and they had none of that happening at all.
They didn't.
So yeah, let's not do that. And like the embargo thing back in the day was a stupid idea. The embargo was a dumb idea that just pushed Castro right into the Russians' arms because a little history lesson. We had a bunch of oil refineries in Cuba when we had what was the guy before Castro? He was our puppet dictator, which he
was the one that was going to let the mob in and
he
just
did
run roughshod. Yeah, he did for a little bit.
Yeah, he did, and so then Castro took over, and then we stopped selling him oil. So who was the only other country to sell him oil? The Soviet Union. So all these oil refineries, which are owned by the U.S., they refused to refine any of the Russian oil. So Castro said, fuck you, we're taking them over, and kicked everybody out, nationalized the oil refineries. And then he said, oh, by the way, now I'm a communist. And so we slapped an embargo on them. And from what I can tell, that did zero to hurt the Castro regime. His brother's still alive, isn't he? Raul Castro?
I assume so. Man, they got to be fucking ancient.
Yeah. Yeah, they're and when Fidel Castro died, the truck that was carrying him to the grave died on him.
No,
because it was from the 50s. Because they couldn't get any new cars because of the embargo. But by the way,
what
said,
you're saying, Matt, is maybe we do need some rich folks to innovate. Is that what you're trying to say? Maybe
possibly,
a little bit.
Possibly.
Okay.
But also, Reagan did a lot to break the back of the Soviet Union. No doubt about that.
Yes, he did.
But also, one of the things that really struck at the heart of the Soviet Union was free trade. And it wasn't really free trade, but it was black market. And one of the huge things was Coca-Cola and Levi's. The Russians wanted Levi's because whatever jeans they made in the Soviet Union were dog shit. Commerce does a lot.
Macramade.
Yeah, there's an old quote that, and I think it was Friedrich Hayek said that when goods cross borders, armies don't. And one of the easiest ways to peacefully resolve conflict is opening up trade. So the embargo, we haven't been able to legally get Cuban cigar. I guess there was a couple of years during the Obama administration when the embargo was lifted, but all that does is hurt the people because they can't get the shit they need and want, and they're solely dependent on their government for it. And we know how well that worked out for them, for every communist regime. Yeah, the government is good at shaking you down, taking your money, and controlling your life, but they are not good at making shit.
Well, look at the example we have with the vaccine. I mean, literally, the government doing it would have taken what they say 2, 3, 4 years
minimum.
Private industry gets involved and it gets done in what, 10 months?
Something
and yes,
like
you have
that,
your problem, you have your issues with it, but it's like I was telling my wife the other day. We were looking at because buildings are getting built everywhere. She's like, man, it's amazing how quickly that building gets built. I said, is it really? Look at all the construction, the government construction stuff takes weeks and weeks and weeks. But these private industries who you got to get it done, built on time or you lose money, build them up in like 2 weeks, like an entire fucking building.
Yeah. And if the government builds that building, it's going to be behind schedule, over budget. And guess what? Instead of them getting fired for doing a shitty job, no, they just get more money the next year.
Look at the VA.
Yeah.
Look at the Aurora VA. Look how fucking long that took.
You remember the sequester cuts back in the day when Paul Ryan was the Speaker of the House?
Vaguely.
So the deal was like they had this deal like we're raising the debt ceiling, but we're only going to raise it so far.
Oh yeah.
And then and if we don't reach a budget deal, then we're gonna have these, and they say draconian cuts, just slashing the budget. No, the budget still increased. It just didn't increase as much as it normally would. They still got more money. Our money, by the way, our money. They got more.
Didn't they cancel? Didn't they? Wasn't the big story they canceled tours to like the White House or some shit?
Oh yeah, we were on our vacation, our honeymoon. We went to Charleston, South Carolina, and I wanted to go see Fort Sumter. The first shots. Well, not really the first shots, but the first major battle of the Civil War was at Fort Sumter. We couldn't go because they shut it down because of sequester cuts, even though they had more money than they had the previous year. But sequester cuts. That's how the government works.
That's a sequester mystery. Sequestery.
That's a sequestery.
So since we did can I do the person of the week, and you're going to be shocked.
All right, let's hear it. So
my person of the week, hear me out, is Van Jones.
Jones. I heard about this vaguely, but enlighten me.
Van Jones was really prominently only around like in the media Obama early days.
Yeah, he was on CNN. He's like a hardcore like communist, basically.
Well, I was looking back, and like I hadn't really paid attention to since then, but apparently at the Jeff Bezos after party after he sent his giant dick into space and wrote on it, he awarded Van Jones with $100 million grant. Basically to help the community and all that. And so I was like, oh, that's odd. But apparently he's kind of done a 180. He's still liberal in his views, but he is highly respected with conservatives now because I guess there was a couple of instances where he doesn't like Trump, but he gave him props that, black unemployment was historically low, like gave him his props, which was amazing to see. Of course, he apologized for his past associations with, the reverends and all that bullshit. But, I thought, hey, you know what? It just shows, sometimes you grow up. You can still hold your values, but you can grow up and still fucking be cordial to people. You can fucking disagree with them without fucking getting in such a heated conversation that you guys can't talk to each other. Me and you are a perfect example with the vaccination and unvaccinated.
Yeah.
Like there's no animosity. There's no fucking guilt. There's nothing between us. There's just your fucking choice and need to respect that and vice versa.
All right.
I thought that was good.
I have never once discouraged anybody from getting a vaccine. Like, I was talking with Tim here a while back and he was like, man, if it means I can get back to normal, then I'll take it. And I was like, hey, I get it. Especially living in a major metropolitan area, I get it. I'm
wait. So I'm on the same side as Tim is. Now I'm really questioning about getting that vaccination, because if Tim got it, oh fuck.
Yeah. It's just gonna make his putt even smaller.
Fuck.
No, I'm not going to discourage anybody. I've looked at it, and I looked at like the risk, and for me, the risk vaccine versus the virus is essentially the same. I don't think there's much of a risk either way. So I'll take my chances just getting it, because you're going to have stronger immunity. And that is a fact. If you look at the studies coming out of Israel, natural immunity, Mother Nature does a better job than man-made, almost 10 times out of 10. And I'm in a very low risk category, so I'll take my chances. This Delta variant, if you look at it's basically it used to be called the India variant, but we can't label shit like that anymore, because that's racist or whatever, what the fuck ever. But how viruses tend to work, as they mutate, they get more virulent, so they're easier to catch, but they are less deadly for the most part. And that's kind of the natural cycle of viruses. Whether this, I happen to think this vaccine or this virus didn't occur naturally. There's plenty of evidence to suggest that it's not a naturally occurring virus in humans. Going way back to the January, Fauci knew that there was at least some speculation, and like very, very hard speculation, that it came from a lab, that it was man-made. However, it seems to be that it's mutating like viruses do. And so, yeah, it's about like the common cold and the flu. I'm not saying they're the same thing. I'm not saying they're equally deadly, but it's the same thing. When you get the flu vaccine, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, because it might not be the right strain that they give you. So the whole idea behind getting the vaccine was your life can go back to normal. Now the CDC just released new guidelines that says even vaccinated people should wear a mask indoors. Then what the fuck is the point of getting the vaccine? If that the main carrot that they're giving you is that your life goes back to normal, no more masks, no more social distancing, you can go on about your life. No, now we just have to blame the people who don't trust or not sold on the vaccine. It's not even that I don't trust it. I'm just not sold, and I'll roll the dice on the virus.
Much like you rolled the dice on syphilis.
Yes, that was a bad roll. That was a bad.
Syphilis is forever, buddy. Can't take those back.
Well, that's herpes.
It's one of them.
Syphilis
that makes your dick
is a
fall
bacterial infection, so you can clear that up with a shot of penicillin. So
I'm allergic to penicillin.
Well, then in that case,
what the fuck, man?
Do they have a syphilis vaccine? I don't think they do. Do they?
No.
That's probably the real pandemic. I heard venereal disease skyrocketed during the lockdown.
Oh yeah,
people were just drinking, doing drugs, and fucking.
They're just usually. I could just hear that conversation, like, "Oh, what do you have one? No, I don't have one. Oh, fuck it."
Yep, exactly.
That's exactly how that convo went.
But speaking of the flu, you remember how like flu cases basically went to zero this last flu season? Mm-hmm. Like they were down remarkably. Well, I believe it was the CDC that just put a pause on the PCR tests because apparently that test doesn't adequately differentiate between influenza and COVID.
Oh, awesome.
Weird.
Awesome.
So yeah, all those bright flashing numbers that all the mainstream media had plastered on their screen about the deaths and the cases. Well, there's a good chance that like half of those were flu cases.
300,000.
I don't remember, but no, I'm not sure about the deaths, but like just the actual active cases.
Yeah.
The positive cases. Yeah. And also there was like a ton of false positives from there too. And then, yeah,
man,
it's amazing how all this shit was when you brought that up when Trump was in office. Boy, you were just a science denier, just a denier. And if you brought up the lab leak, boy, you're just a Alex Jones level conspiracy theorist.
Man, those higher ups in the medical field are just fucking crushing it, aren't they?
Just fucking owning it. Just home run.
I feel like Bob Euchre should be fucking commentating on all the dingers they're hitting.
You can put it on the board. Yes.
Fuck the
Is that Bob Euchre?
No, that's the White Sox broadcast.
Yeah.
I love
Euchre?
Bob Euchre was the cat in Major League 1 and 2.
That's
the announcer.
Right. That's right.
And he's the announcer for the Brewers.
That's right. Yeah.
He's getting up there too. That's going to be a sad day when that old
Chief
boy
Wahoo
goes.
is gone though. They're now the Cleveland Guardians. Guardians. Nobody wants to guard Cleveland. Get the fuck out of here.
Do you know what the story is behind that name? So apparently,
I heard something about it, but I didn't listen the whole.
Apparently, in Cleveland, there are these two gargoyles that are known the guardians of the city. Like that was your go-to. You would have been better being called like the Cleveland River Fires. You know, like
yeah, the Cleveland Oil Slicks.
Or you could have. What was the owner of the Indians in Major League?
Oh, the hot chick. I forget what her name was, but
you could have been called the Cleveland Showgirls, and that would have been even better.
You know what? The Cleveland and the country would have embraced it. I mean, probably the same people that are pissed off about Simone Biles probably would have been pissed off about the Cleveland Showgirls, and they would have cared equally the same amount. Zero. But
my boy is a Cleveland fan, and as soon as I heard the name change was coming, I said, if they turn into the Cleveland Honkies, I will disavow any Rockies gear and become a fucking diehard Cleveland Honky fan.
Mm-hmm. I love how this social justice stuff works. Like, you got rid of the Indian on Land O'Lakes butter because that's what we do as white people. We get rid of the Indians. And
you've been fucking waiting to use that one all fucking session.
Actually, that one I had that one in the back, but I that one was way on the back burner. You know, we've been that one. But then also what's her name? Aunt Jemima, who was a real person. Like, I think she was the first Black millionaire woman ever in the U.S. But we got rid of her because apparently a real person is racist now. Putting a real person on a syrup bottle is racist. So yeah, good job, lefties. Good work.
That one still got me, dude. Fuck that hurt.
I was gonna say I forgot who my person of the week was gonna be. I've given it to Rand Paul too many times.
You have. Get off his dick, Matt.
I'm going to give it to.
Hire you.
I'm gonna do a double dinger here. Adam Kinzinger is going to be my person of the week and my shithead of the week because that crying was goddamn hysterical. I mean, it really gave me joy to see what just a giant piece of shit he is. So thank you for exposing yourself for the giant piece of shit that you are, Adam Kinzinger. Yeah, Liz Cheney, she's the other Republican on the 1-6 commission. The two biggest Trump haters in the Republican Party in the House are the only two on the commission. Nance, she vetoed Jim Jordan, and I forget the guy's name from Indiana. It doesn't matter. Indiana's not a real place. So
Jim Jordan, like, he's a blowhard. He's a total media whore.
Yeah.
But I know if he was on that committee, he would immediately point down to why did this happen? Where was the failure? Which should be the point of the whole fucking commission.
He's another Trey Gowdy.
Yes.
I know you were a Trey Gowdy fan, but they do some really good line of questioning, but all these commissions serve no purpose. They have no law enforcement power. They have subpoena power, but that's it. And more often than not, what they do is they get up there and they bloviate and they lecture the person that they're supposed to be questioning, and nothing happens. And you can throw Rand Paul in that category too. Rand Paul's a little better on his questioning, and he's not he's not
he sets him up.
Yeah, but it's political theater. That's all it is. Hollywood for ugly people.
Hollywood. Was your boy a Black Rifle the one that came up with that?
I've heard him say that, but I don't know where that actually came from. Oh, let's have you heard the latest on Black Rifle? You know, did you hear that they went woke apparently?
No,
no, they didn't. But okay. So they had a reporter from the New York Times come out and do a piece on them, and it's the New York Times. As shitty as they are, it's still a huge platform. So they're like, all right, well, we can get in the New York Times, and of course they brought up the fact that Kyle Rittenhouse had a Black Rifle shirt on the first appearance that he made after he made bail. The Rittenhouse deal is a bad, tragic situation. That kid is going to be fucked up for life. Probably shouldn't have been there. However, that kid can fucking shoot. You can't take that away from him. He was cool under pressure. Killed a couple of shitbags, and now they're trying to basically lynch him over it because it happened to be a Black Lives Matter protest. Which we all know nothing good comes out of a Black Lives Matter protest. And he's a 17-year-old kid, but whatever. So now they're basically trying to link. And there was a guy, the zip tie guy from the Capitol Hill protest, the guy that had like the big bag or like the big handful of zip ties that stormed the Capitol. He had a Black Rifle hat on. And so they're basically trying to tie all these supposed extremists to Black Rifle and saying that they're profiting on domestic extremism, which is fucking bullshit. If you're
That's
gonna call
crazy,
if you're gonna call the January 6th thing an insurrection, then you have to call all this Antifa BLM bullshit that happened for 6 months leading up to that. You have to call that domestic extremism too, but they don't. They don't because it doesn't fit the narrative. So because of that, there's a bunch of hard right-wing guys that are fully, they're behind Kyle Rittenhouse, which that's their right, and I support that, whatever. I'm not getting involved, which is what Black Rifle said. They're not getting involved in that. They said we don't profit off of a tragedy. You heard the interview I did with Evan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now they're coming at him again, and they're like, oh, because he said Evan Hafer, who happens to be Jewish, got a whole bunch of anti-Semitic comments and death threats after the first time they tried to cancel him. And so during this interview, he said, we don't even want those people in our, he's like, I would gladly pay them to leave my coffee club. He said, I don't like racist. I don't like anti-Semites. And, and he said Proud Boys, which I don't know what to think of the Proud Boys. I really don't. I think there's probably some good people in there. I think there's probably some shitbags in there, just like every other group of people. But now you have a group of veterans that have become one of the major coffee companies in the country, doing incredibly good things for the veteran community, law enforcement, first responder, all that stuff. That's what they focus on. And you've got a bunch of conservatives who think they're not conservative enough now. And so it all stemmed from a New York Times article, which I have zero trust in the New York Times. If I read the article multiple times, I sent you that article. Mm-hmm. And push comes to shove, I'll take the word of Evan Hafer, Matt Best, Jared Taylor, and the Black Rifle crew over the New York Times 10 times out of 10. I will take their word over the New York Times, because the New York Times is not an honest actor. They haven't been for a long time. So why would you take them at face value? It's fucking stupid. No. You got people that sacrificed life and limb for the country, trying to do good for the country, and you believe the New York Times, who has done nothing but divide the country, and you're going to take their word over patriots. Fucking stupid.
Amen.
So I'll retract my Kinzinger as the good guy of the week, and I'll give it to Black Rifle. Those guys do a lot of good fucking work, and I'll continue to buy their coffee, and I'll continue to give it away because I believe in them. I think they're doing a good job. My biological dad was a Vietnam vet, did 2 tours, 2 Purple Hearts and a Bronze Star. And that war fucked him up for life. I'm the 3rd and 4th order effects of failed foreign policy. I wish there had been a company like that around when he got out of the military, but there wasn't. What they're doing is incredible, and they deserve credit for it. They don't deserve to be drugged through the mud by a bunch of fucking people that can't get off of Trump's dick. That's the long and short of it.
Preach it.
Yeah. Oh, this is what happens when you hold up a person over principle, a party over principle. Fuck that. Know what you stand for and stand up for what you stand for.
Fucking A, Matt. God, my dick is so hard right now because just you're fuming. Oh, man. All right, man. I'm fucking dying. I got to wake up early tomorrow.
All right, man. Well, sign us off.
Get your ass moving because it's burning daylight. Burning the shit out of it. Thanks for listening, folks. Good night. Be sure to tip your waitress.
Burning sensation might be Bezos's giant space dick. We don't know. Don't know.
I can't wait. I can't wait for this fucking art. Veinos.
Vince Post Politics. Veinos edition. Boom.
Veinos out.
Later, buddy.
Later, buddy. See ya.
Good guys and bad guys. Cowboys and Indians, sinners and saints, masters and minions. They're all the same to me. They're all the same to me. Winners and losers, the weak and the strong ones. hard times an easy street, fortune and failure, dirt roads and concrete, the rich and the poor, the real and the way, the love and the hate, the night and the day. And your politrick magic might have fooled everybody, but you didn't pull nothing on me. Choose your battles, oh, bite your tongue, 'cause you know your words have wings. Bar your windows and lock your doors when the puppets start cutting their strings. And watch your step when you find yourself in the company of kings. Good guys and bad